Greetings, this is your instructor for social problems. I wanted to make a video that is me going over the syllabus, kind of explaining the highlights of it, and maybe clearing up some confusion that might exist. So I'm here in the second Moodle frame, and I'm clicking here for the class syllabus, and this may look a little bit different on my end than it does for yours, so I am going to click preview, and I think now what I'm going to see is what you see. Yeah, so all right, so here we are. My name is Jesse Smith-Fulia. I think of Julia with an F. Maybe that helps you pronounce the last part of it. My email address is right there. That's probably the best way of contacting me, but of course you can contact me at my office or a mobile phone. My office is in J1009. That's at the main campus, and I am going to be there Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 9 until 11. If you are coming specifically to meet with me and not really for any other reason, shoot me an email just to make sure that I'm going to be there. Occasionally I have meetings or other things that kind of come up. So I want to be there if you're going to be there, especially if you're just coming to see me. So on the other hand, I do encourage you to come visit me and all of your instructors. That really helps build a personal connection, which is sometimes kind of hard on an online class. So, all right, there's the course description and a picture of our book. If some of you have a 7th edition, that's going to work fine. There's a couple of chapters that are a little bit different order, meaning like we may be reading chapter 14, and in your book it's chapter 15, but I think I've outlined that in the syllabus schedule, so don't sweat that. In addition to the books, you will need access to watch one documentary on Netflix later on in this semester. And that movie you actually could find out now. It's in the schedule. So for instance, if you have Netflix access like right now, or maybe you're a relative or someone that has Netflix and you can go look at that movie. It's called Saving Capitalism. So, all right. This class is asynchronous. That means that we don't meet at any specific time unless we want to. Like, I'm happy to Zoom with you, but otherwise it is kind of open schedule as long as you get your assignments turned in by Sunday at midnight. That will be fine, although I do encourage you to visit more than just once a week. I will do video lectures. I'm posting video lectures on Moodle. Some of them are kind of old. Some of them I'm going to be updating because I made them before I really understood how to use video editing software. So hopefully I'll make some changes to the ones that need updating. All assignments are shared and submitted to the class's Moodle page. Please don't email me assignments. If there's a problem in Moodle, please let me know about that, and I will make the adjustments that are required. Again, all assignments are due Sunday at midnight, and you're encouraged to reach out. Communication is oftentimes one of the better indicators of how well a student, I guess. Anyway, it's the students that kind of I lose contact with, and I reach out to, like, hey, what's going on? I noticed you didn't do this, and they don't ever email back or communicate. Those are the ones that oftentimes don't do as well as I would like, as they would like. So, all right. So expectation is that you regular check your email. I will communicate either through Moodle or through email. Read the class textbook. There are assignments that are directly related to reading that book. It's an online class. You're going to need on-demand internet access, meaning you're going to have a really hard time if you're just doing this like from the public library where there's free internet or something like that. So, in terms of computer hardware, kind of anything that's going to allow you to access Moodle and word processing, YouTube. So that means you're going to need more than just a mobile phone. Maybe a mobile phone for like Netflix or YouTube, but not for word processing. Moodle kind of really begins to break down if you're only using a mobile device for that. So the expectation is that you'll be able to use word processing, be able to use Moodle, access class content. If you're not there, just ask, and I can kind of give you some pointers. Maybe we can Zoom and you can share your screen, like kind of point you in the direction of doing that. But you have to reach out and ask me. Otherwise, I won't know that that's the issue. So please proofread all assignments. Work on connecting the material to your own life. It'll really make your papers much stronger. It'll make the class more interesting for you. We're talking about a lot of things that we're dealing with on a daily basis. So try to see if you can make that connection. Have thoughtful class discussions. That means, like thinking about what people are actually saying. And if you need to disagree, that's totally appropriate. Just do so in a respectful manner. So, all right. Attendance policy. The expectation is that you be online multiple times per week. And, the class forums are really not engaging if people are only submitting things at the last minute, because then no one has time to respond to those. So work on submitting them by Monday or Tuesday and then responding to somebody else by Wednesday or Thursday. And that'll just be really make a much better discussion. Late work policy. If you do not turn something in when it is due, then you've missed what I call the soft due date, which is the opportunity to get all the points. But not all hope is lost, because then you can submit things by the hard due date, which is in March and April. And so if you miss something from the first half of the semester before midterms, you can submit it up into the hard due date, which is in March. And if you miss something, you don't submit something in the second half of the semester on time, you can submit it up until the second hard due date. But a penalty of 10 points does come with that. So, all right, where does your evaluation come from? It comes from these chapter summary and responses, which is it's the elephant in the room. It's the big assignment for the class. Each week we're going to cover a chapter, except for that one week where we watch the movie. But the rest of the weeks we'll cover one chapter. You'll read that chapter, and then you're taking notes while you're reading. That's the best way of doing this. And then you are summarizing that chapter in a paper. Keep the book away from you when you're doing this. If you have good notes, then, or just notes in general, use your notes, but that's going to keep you from using the author's words. I don't want the author's words, because I want your words, because this allows me to know if you understand what the chapter is about. And then that after you write this page summary, then you create a personal response. And this is much shorter. It's about a paragraph long. And this is where you connect the material and your day-to-day life. This is where you say, hey, I've noticed this in my life, and the author mentions this. Or I don't understand what the author was talking about when he said this. Or I think the author was just plain wrong when he said that. So in total, this whole paper is going to be about a page and a half long. It's typed with 1-inch margins, double spaced. At the top of your paper, all I'm looking for is the chapter and your name. We are going to have class discussions, and those are in a discussion forum where there's multiple questions that are asked that I post, and then you can choose to answer one of them or both of them, or if there's more than two, all of them. I'm looking for a 200-word answer, and that you would then comment on someone else's post in 50 words. So you answer the question that I'm asking in 200 words, and then you comment on someone else's in 50 or more. So, and then there are 2 exams, one in the middle of the semester and one at the end, and these are like essay questions that are asked. All right, so in summary, the expectation is on an average week, you read the chapter, you watch the lectures over the chapter, that you do a discussion forum, and that you submit this summary and response. All assignments are due at midnight. Sometimes students get thrown off because it kind of looks like it's due Monday, but it's due Monday at like 0 o'clock. So it's midnight on Sunday. March 12th is the first hard due date. April 30th, the second hard due date. That's for if you miss the due date when the assignment is due, you have a chance to submit it late. But don't abuse that, because it gets really tough on students, because it's just so much work, and they're having to do this week's work and last week's work, and so don't do that. One last thing before I talk about the schedule. If you object to me submitting your name, saying that you're having a problem keeping up with the class, or that I haven't seen you, or that you're not submitting your work, please let me know. But otherwise, by default, what I'm going to try to do is, if you haven't submitted your assignments, the first thing I'm going to do is try to reach out to you via email and say, hey, I noticed you didn't submit the assignment. And then if I don't hear from you, I am going to then pass your name along to an advisor who's going to try to, again, help you complete the assignment, help you be successful in the class. It's not about shaming people. It is about helping students be successful in the class. But for some reason, if you're like, no, I can't, I don't want you to do that, then please let me know, and I will not pass along your name to somebody else. Here's what we're doing this week. We are introducing the class, and we're looking at the syllabus like we are now, and we're going to sign, that you agree to the syllabus, and you're going to introduce yourself. Next week is really where the material comes into play, and you're reading chapter 1, and I've got a short video for you to watch by I think that's the American Sociology Association, and we're going to do a discussion forum, and you're going to watch this video. You're going to submit your summary and response, and that's it for the second week. And that kind of continues here. We don't do every chapter because there's more chapters than there are weeks. And so chapter 14, for instance, we don't do. But if you'll read, especially if you have the next edition of the book, just read to make sure that you're going to read about the environment. And I think that's really the only chapter with the disconnect. But it's possible that chapter 13 is also a little bit different. So just making sure that you're reading the right chapter. And then the final exam is due May 9th. So if you have a disability, or you had an IEP or something that would prevent you from doing well in the class, and there's a way that I can help you, please let me know. I want to be able to help you. Otherwise, there's counseling if life is overwhelming and unmanageable, and we have that for Shawnee College students. There's tutoring labs and writing labs. The days off don't really affect us as much because of the fact that we're an online class. Withdrawal, if for some reason you are not wanting to continue in the class, I can only drop you for a very limited amount of time. You have more of a window than I do, and letting me know that is helpful, but talking to your advisor is going to be the one that will be the one to help you to do that. So looking at academic integrity, the vast majority of the situations that relate to academic integrity in this class relate to using the author's words. So I think in the past, maybe teachers have wanted you to use the author's words in your paper because the author is the expert and they're the correct one. And so if you go with their ideas, or they go with their words, then clearly you can't be wrong. The only problem with that is that it prevents me from knowing whether you understand the material or not. So I want you to use the author's ideas, but I want you to use your own words in that. So, all right. Other than that, that is all that I wanted to discuss related to the syllabus. Let me know if you have any further questions.